Okay. Okay. So I'm assuming that you guys can hear me, and basically I wanted to do like a small video, expressing something that kind of was weighing heavy on my heart today, at least. I woke up this morning after dealing with stuff last night, and I noticed that well, in the conversation, I realized that sometimes when people judge other people, it directly affects how you deal with certain people, and it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't be basing your opinion or your ideas on anything or anyone off of somebody else's take on that person, because how you experience somebody may not be how other people experience that person. So you should never let that get in the way of you having great opportunities. Now, I'm not saying in relationships, like some people do some crazy things, like they'll get with somebody who's a chronic woman beater and they think that they're going to change them, or vice versa, somebody who's been a gold digger. Um, and I'm just speaking on the extremes for male and female in some ways. Um, you get in those situations and you expect something different, or you expect to change them, and you kind of, they're gonna be how you met them. You know what I mean? They really rarely don't change their personalities. I can't speak directly on every single case, because not every case is the same. Not every person is the same. But I'm just saying, like, if there was an extreme concept or idea about certain things like that, this may be the this may be the directive in how they go about certain things. But I'm speaking on solely on just relationships, like not just romantic relationships, but relationships as a whole, professional relationships, or um, speaking on like what you hear about somebody, and letting that, like, just don't let that dictate how you perceive. And then also realize that if somebody's talking about somebody else, what the hell are they saying about you? Let's be real about that. What are they saying about you? What are they? What's their ideas about you, and what's their take on you? Because if they got the nerve to talk about somebody else to you, and you may not even know that person, what the hell are they saying to the other person? Let's put that in perspective. You know what I mean? Like, what are they going around saying about you? So don't feed into it, don't give into it, and don't allow that to be a part of your growth as a whole. Just don't let it get in the way, because it's not worth it, nor is it fair for anybody to be in a situation where they cannot be themselves, or they can't, they won't be able to do what's necessary for themselves in their lives, because there's people out there who who have a problem with another individual, or what that individual is about, and what that other individual is doing with their life. Like, just don't let that get in your way, man. Don't let that get in your way. It's so not worth it. And I know how it feels to be judged. I've been judged before. I've been on the side of it that was not favorable, and it sucks, especially because if you're leading off to doing something that has never been done before, and somebody's telling you that you can't do it, or you hear through conversation, or somebody had an idea that didn't, or you had an idea that didn't conceptualize the way that you envisioned, the way you talked about it, and they just downplay you in that sense, then you kind of, it makes you, it makes you not want to pursue those things. So don't let that dictate the growth that you want to obtain. Don't let that dictate the gain that you want to obtain. Don't let that dictate the dreams and goals that you have for yourself. Let that shit go. Let it go, and push it to the side, and continue to push forward. You know what I mean? I had a friend. Well, I not haven't had a friend. I have a friend who aspired to do many, many things. And one of the things she aspired to do is she wanted to cut her hair. I'm an enabler when it comes to people and being spontaneous. So I bought some clippers, some really nice clippers, by the way, and we shaved their head. For her to do that was kind of like that idea of like grabbing life and making it your own. Not saying anybody judged her, but she felt that a lot of people's ideas of who she was, or who she was materialized based on her hair in some ways. Now, I would love to get her take on it, because like I'm just going by a conversation we had back like years ago, versus that moment versus now, and where it what it means to her now. So, or even like the context of, like, somebody telling you that you're stupid for going to college. or you're stupid for not going to college. Like, you do what you want to do, man. Don't let nobody deter you from whatever success you have, man, because the reality of it is the universe has your back. And if it is a bad day, the universe will definitely let you know. And if it's part of your destiny to land on your butt and have to rise from that, then so be it. Take that opportunity to grow and to experiment and to experience and continue to flourish in whatever goals that you've set for yourself. You know what I mean? Sometimes God has a way of putting you in a position where you have to be observant. You know what I mean? You have to see things. Like, a close friend of mine broke some bones, and they can't really do what they used to. I look at that as an opportunity to be observant, to be still, to be patient, to wait, but also to see things you would have never normally have seen if you were always active in doing things. So take pride in those moments, love those moments, rest and be easy, but allow yourself to be the best you that you could possibly be, and don't let anyone in this world tell you that you're not good enough to be you, because they don't have that right. They do not have that right to tell you what you're made of and what you will be, and or put a marker on what kind of potential that you have. Just do you. Just do you. And be realistic. I'm a dreamer. I have unrealistic goals sometimes. And they're not impossible. They just take a little more time than I expect. But just keep doing that. Keep doing you. Keep doing that. And keep loving yourself, you know. Everything is possible. Everything in this world is possible. Just because somebody hasn't discovered it yet doesn't mean that it's impossible. Just because somebody who is an elitist hasn't talked about it doesn't mean that it's impossible. Because in reality, the reality of it is, it's like, at one point, fire was impossible, and then it happened. A caveman was sitting down, and it was during a thunderstorm, and I can only assume this is how it happened. And the thunderbolt would hit the tree, and the tree or the bush, and the bush set a flame, and that was fire, and they had to put a name to it. And at that very moment, when that person or that Neanderthal just looked at it and said, "Oh, this is fire," he became the expert on fire, because he was the only one who had seen it and only one to categorize it. Or she. So at that moment, they were the person to categorize it and became the expert in it. And then somebody else came along and said, "Hey, if you rub these two stones together, it makes a spark," kind of emulating that fire, that lightning bolt that came out the sky that lit that bush on fire. Now they become, an expert in it too. So just continue to do those things and continue to develop and continue to grow in those moments. And don't let judgment rule you. You know what I mean? Don't let it rule you. It's been real.